Owner-occupiers have been decimated. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at an article which is discussing how owner-occupiers, at least, well, owner-occupier loans, have plummeted. They've been decimated, everyone, as interest rates continue to go up. And for those of you playing at home, the cash rate is 3.1%. We're now a tad over what used to be considered an emergency rate that gave them room to move. It just shows you how low interest rates have been. You might actually be able to earn some money on your savings. But people are suffering, or people are unprepared, or frankly, people believed the media when they parroted one of the RBA's scenarios with very little additional information that rates wouldn't go up until 2024. But the question is, what were you gonna do when 2024 rolled around? Because rates only had one way to go. We knew they weren't going to go negative. So, let's have a look. Owner-occupier loans plummet as housing affordability declines. Now, some people were hoping that housing would become more affordable with the decline in property prices. But we're coming off a peak, guys. We're coming off an insane peak. We may go back to pre-COVID price levels, which are not affordable. We've been complaining about housing affordability for some time. I would make the argument that housing affordability, it's a multi-variable issue from federal, state, and local council level, with so many people having their 2 cents. You get people voting green because they want affordable housing. Then they're part of some not in my backyard bloody coalition stopping multi-res development near their precious community. So people are all hypocrites. And I can understand why the only thing the federal government can really do is just chuck money at the problem. Unless you want them to come in and take control of councils. Maybe. But I can't see that happening. So let's keep going through this one here. Housing affordability has declined over the September quarter as the gap between income and mortgages widens. According to the latest Real Estate Institute of Australia Housing Affordability Report, the proportion of income required to meet the average loan repayment has increased by 3.8 per percentage points to 42.2% in the September quarter. So the proportion of income required to meet the average loan repayments has increased 3.8% to 42.2%. So nearly half of your income. Now I want to bring up a description here. Let me just get the correct data source here to do with, housing stress, everyone. This is a term we need to be aware of. Now, housing stress, and this is from the ABS, is typically described as low-income households that spend more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs. Now, if we're looking at this example here where we're 42.2% to meet the average loan repayment, and I'm assuming this is the average wage, so it's not low income, but still, it's nearly half your bloody income. It's getting close to it. And that's just the loan repayments. When you've got to add on all the other costs, the maintenance costs of housing. You've got to do repairs, you've got rates, you've got, I don't know what else you can imagine. There's all these other costs associated with it that people tend to forget. And you can understand why. So, what do you reckon? Add that to the housing, 50% of your income just to live in a house? I was watching a Dave Ramsey episode today, and it was a single dad in New York, just gone through a divorce, and he was spending 50% of his income on his rent. And Ramsey was going, that's not feasible. Something's going to break one way or another. You've got to make a decision. I think his advice was get another career. That's probably the advice we're going to have here. Same thing, 42%, bloody high. And this isn't someone going full on, I'm going to decimate and destroy this loan. I'll go nuts and pay. The ones in the comments, well, I pay 80% of my income of my mortgage. Yeah, okay, awesome, bro. You're kicking it. This is normal person here. That's a big chunk. So The REIA's report revealed the number of owner-occupied dwelling loans decreased 9.4% in the September quarter, hence decimated, or 21% over the past 12 months, which marked the highest annual decrease in new loans since December 2010. So the owner-occupiers, they're plummeting. Well, they FOMO'd in. Didn't they? You got a home builder, that juiced them into the market as well. You've got super withdrawals, all this stuff the government did, and then they, oh boy. The number of loans for owner-occupied dwellings decreased in all states and territories over the September quarter, except for the Northern Territory, where it increased by 2.3%. The report also found the number of first home buyers decreased to 26,343, a drop of 9.6% during the quarter and a decrease of 30.3% compared to the same quarter the previous year. Okay, what we're seeing, everyone, is how insane the last few years were. How many people FOMO'd into housing. Now, these interest rate increases are going to hurt the new buyers more than the rest of us. Okay, I mean, those of us that have had houses and mortgages for a few years now, we all knew the cash rate at 0.1% was temporary. It was insanely cheap. Okay, we all knew that. But some of these people, obviously, they're going to lose some equity, depending on where they're bought, and they could probably be trapped in their home and their mortgage, which isn't the end of the world. It just means growing up a bit and getting a real budget going. So RIA's president, Hayden Groves, said the cohort now makes 30.9% of owner-occupier commitments, a decrease of 0.1% over the quarter and 4.2% over the year. The number of first-home buyers decreased in all states and territories except Tasmania and the Northern Territory, where there was an increase. The figures take into account the Reserve Bank of Australia's fifth cash rate hike in September to 2.35%, so we're already much higher than that, which has since lifted to 3.1%, signaling a worsening effect is yet to be seen. Next year is going to be an interesting year. According to Mr. Groves, the average loan size to first home buyers decreased to $479,000, a marginal decrease of 0.1% over the quarter, but an increase of 4.4% over the 12 months. Okay, so I'm going to update this, my Excel file. So they're saying average first home, wait a minute. What are we going to do? Oh, why is it move? This is a problem when you have too many screens. It jumps all over the place. So we have our average of 479,125, and that's first home buyers. Okay, so what are we at? We're currency here. Remember when the ribbon was new in Microsoft, guys? I'm probably showing my age. So let's say you're an average first home buyer. You went in at 1.99. You're going to 5.1%. What's the difference in your payments going to be? They're going to be 47%. So you're going to have to find another $800 a month. So you got another 10 grand a year if you're a first home buyer. And that, I mean, that's the average. In Sydney, it's insane. Probably in Melbourne too, and maybe even Brisbane. Looking across the state, the average loan size to first home buyers increased in New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia and Tasmania. The loan size fell in Victoria, Queensland and Northern Territory and the ACT. Housing affordability refers to the relationship between expenditure on housing, such as prices, mortgage payments or rents, and household income, as compared to affordable housing, such as low-income or social housing. Thus, given the sharp increase in the cash rate this year alongside relatively stagnant wages growth, the issue of declining housing affordability may come as little surprise. The REAI's report showed housing affordability declined in all states and territories, with Tasmania having the highest decline, with the proportion of income increasing 5.9 percentage points, and WA having the lowest decline, with the proportion of income increasing 3.2 percentage points. The report also found rental affordability declined less than housing affordability, with the proportion of income required to meet median rent increasing by 0.1% to 23%. Unless you're that lady in the middle of Sydney who was paying $1,000 a week for rent. I really get the feeling that's someone wanting to live to show off. In fact, rental affordability improved in New South Wales and the ACT, remained stable in SA, West Australia, but declined in other states. It follows recent data estimated 22.6% of mortgage holders, 1 million people, were at risk of mortgage stress in the 3 months to October 22, up from 21.1% last month. I mean, that sounds scary, but we need to see what that is compared to the trend. But then again, Roy Morgan, who did this, we went through their mortgage stress research. They've got the best method of assessing if you're under mortgage stress. We'll talk about that. It's similar, I suspect, to Martin North's one, where if your income's less than your outgoings, you're pretty much screwed. That's not even mortgage stress, that's just general stress. So that's the mess that some people are finding themselves in. So guys, there we have it. I mean, owner-occupiers, they're stepping down now. It's no longer their game. Now, will investors return? Does this mean there's going to be a crash in property? I can't see it happening. I can see some people getting screwed over and having a bit of a wake-up call and a reality check. And next year's going to be tough. What do you reckon, guys? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thank you for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, for other topics I discuss. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, buying our pocket squares, or calling us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now. Only one video today, guys. We've been doing making rebar cages, so we're exhausted. I'll see you later.